Hey guys, so normally when I do these suit reviews, I record the video, and what I'll do is I will add a little bit of B-roll and a few other things to kind of just fill the void of just me sitting there talking with the suit standing right in front of me on a mannequin. And I did actually record in the similar format that I did prior. The only issue is that I was having an issue with some of the audio for some reason. So because of that, I'm going to change the format up a little bit of this suit review. Fortunately, I did still get a lot of B-roll, and I did get a lot of photos done, so I could still show a lot of that stuff. But in the meantime, you guys are probably not going to see me actually physically in front of the suit, talking about it, analyzing it in the way that I typically do when I do these suit reviews. So today I'm going to be covering the Superman suit from ONEHEROSUITS. This is, I guess it would be called the Legacy suit back in the day, but I guess it would be the 2025 Superman suit. I absolutely love the texture of the fabric, and the suit coloring is definitely a strong point. The colors feel almost like a callback to the old Superman movies, and they feel very classic and opposed to these muted, washed out colors that you typically see and were kind of like the trend back in, the earlier days of these comic book movies. Now I guess they're kind of a little bit more bright and saturated. The other thing is that the stitching and the overall structure of the costume is very well done, and considering the price and the accuracy, it looks very much similar to the actual movie suit from what we saw in the stills. One of the things that is good about it is that the leather, which I can say the same thing about the Sim cosplay, the leather trimming looks very secure, and it is stitched on very well. You don't have any danger or feeling like it's going to just peel right off or anything like that. And it just really just radiates great quality so far. Usually I rate my experience with cosplays based on how much editing I have to do, and how much I have to do after to the suit as far as editing goes and Photoshop work and stuff like that. Because this suit is basically flat, it doesn't have that muscle shading, it doesn't have any type of muscle suit underneath or anything like that. It sometimes can appear very flat. Overall, I feel like this is tough because the suit will not complement the physique in every way that you possibly want. One of the good things that I have noticed about it, and that has improved since the Sim cosplay one, is I've realized that lighting the suit actually a different way helps. And it does make it where it's a little bit easier and adds a little bit of dimension. Sometimes I still have to Photoshop a little bit of shadowing here and there, or at least bolster it so that this way you can see it. Overall, the fabric is just this really, really textured fabric, which I really do like that they actually did. And it makes it almost where it steps up the cosplay, so it's not like this flat printed out texture that they have. The trimming, in my opinion, I like the detailing of it, and I do like the fact that it kind of breaks up the otherwise very simple suit. As far as the sizing was perfect for this suit, but the main reason why is because I went with the custom size. Now, for those of you who watched the Sim cosplay suit review, you would know that I ordered a different size, and I recommended going a size up or maybe two sizes up. I am going to tell you what I really suggest now after kind of doing that and realizing that it still didn't really fit. I would say that doing the custom sizing would be the best way to do it. I think that the custom sizing, even though it's a little bit of extra money, ultimately it's worth it. As far as the urethane that they use, the logo is stitched on. I don't think it's glued down. Like then you also have another urethane or rubber S on the back, which I really do like that they actually added the yellow S to the back of the suit. That's one of the mainstays that I really enjoy seeing on the Superman suit. Another thing that I can say is that a lot of the criticisms that I had for the Sim cosplay version, this suit immediately fixes it and resolves it. So, as far as like the cape being just snapped on like the surface of the suit, that is not the case for this suit. It's actually like a slit on each side, and then you can tuck it underneath, and then there's a Velcro strip on the collar side, basically, for each part of the suit where the cape would be tucked underneath. And I think that ultimately that is way better, and it makes it look more like the movie than the previous cosplay. As far as the seller experience, because I know a lot of people actually wonder how the experience is with particular sellers. In my opinion, and this is my experience, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be yours, and I hope I don't have people in the comment section saying, like, no, they're trash and I don't like them. But I needed this suit by a certain time frame, and they made sure that I received it earlier than I even anticipated. They were very responsive. Overall, they helped with any issues or questions that I had. Unlike other suits that I've had issues with, I do feel like the custom size, even though it said that it would take a month of the tailor time, I don't think it actually took that long. I don't think that it's always that way. I kind of really don't know for sure, because I did ask them to do it a little bit earlier. But either way, the funny thing about it is that I ordered the Sim cosplay, and it was not too much different price-wise. So for practically the same price, you get a better quality suit, in my opinion. Now, they also do sell this suit, the suit that I got from Sim Cosplay. They also sell it as well. This is like a version 2 of the Superman 2025 suit. But either way, I like the idea that the Velcro was added so that this way it would tuck underneath. That was definitely something that I wanted to eventually do and improve on the cosplay. So imagine my surprise when I found out that they actually had one that already came like that. And honestly, I think it looks a lot better in the photos because of that as well, instead of me having to edit it in and do it that way. A lot of the criticisms that I had from Sim Cosplay, like I said before, were resolved and were definitely fixed. Ultimately, my final thoughts on this version of the suit is that I really do recommend it over the others. I've never really been too fond of a lot of the printed suits. For Spider-Man, I think it kind of works, but for Superman, I've never really kind of done it. So for this suit, I definitely recommend it, especially if you're trying to get something that's really good quality and it isn't merely just a printed out suit. Especially since this, is one of those suits that's not going to cost you an arm and a leg, and it's not like, a suit that's $1,000. So I definitely think that this is something that I recommend. I would say it's probably like a 6.5 or a 7, out of 10 for me, because it is really that good of a cosplay. And I think it even made me appreciate and like the movie suit slightly more. Not by much, but slightly, because I wasn't really a big fan of the movie suit. Going into the negative parts of this, one of the things that I had an issue with was the hidden zipper that goes onto the back of the suit. Both suits had the same issue, where the hidden zipper was very difficult to maneuver, and it took almost 8 to 10 minutes to get into the cosplay, even with help. I don't know if this is the case for everyone. If you guys didn't have the same issue and I just have bad luck with this version of the suit, just let me know in the comment section because I'm really curious. Either way, overall, I do think that this cosplay suit looks much like the film version, and most of my negative criticisms aren't really because of the cosplay. It is more so because of the actual movie suit. I've said it time and time again. I don't like the fact that the neckline is so high up and has a collar. It's very reminiscent of the New 52. I know it's in the comics. I don't really care for it. Something about it looks just a little too militaristic, and I just don't really care for it. On top of all of that, I do feel like the red trunks, for some reason, they just look a little bit larger than I want them to. And I think that comes from the idea that the inspiration for the film came from All-Star Superman, so those are kind of like almost like briefs a little bit. They're not like straight up like briefs, but they're kind of like that a little bit. And for that reason, I think that's where they kind of took the inspiration for this Superman suit. On top of that, I'm not fully sold on the symbol being so reminiscent of the Kingdom Come logo. I do believe that particular logo actually came from the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover from the CW, where you had the yellow Kingdom Come Superman logo. Ultimately, I just wish that it was a more classic-looking Superman-esque. I wanted something that probably looked, closer to the Superboy series or something like that, where it just looked more classic. This is actually one of those few times probably where I would have even settled for a New 52 logo design, which is saying something because I could not stand the New 52 suit. This suit to me in some ways also feels like it's not Superman. It feels very Star-Lord or Guardians of the Galaxy, and I know that James Gunn designed or had a hand in the design and the film and everything, so it definitely shows, and I'm not really a big fan of the design of it. I do feel like the suit also looks very baggy and less fitted, which thankfully the cosplay on a lot of other cosplayers doesn't look that way. And I think in this case, that's one of the things that I think make the suit look better. Yet again, this is my opinion. A lot of the criticisms that I do have of the suit, like I said before, they have little to do with the actual cosplay. They have more to do with the movie version of the suit that it's based off of. And ultimately, I do recommend this. I do think that this is a cosplay that if you're a Superman fan and you really want to get more of a quality costume for a lower price, I think that, it's not like the lowest price costume, but it's definitely lower than you spending almost $1,000 on it. So, or $2,000 or $3,000 on it, like some of the other Superman suits that I've heard about. But I definitely recommend it. I do think that I want to try to maybe make slight improvements on it, like with the logo, making it look closer to the movie and a few other modifications. But either way, with this being said, I'm going to bring this video to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you never miss out on the content that I'm putting up. And have a good one.